All right. So we're back. Uh, for anyone following along, the test of passing, I'll walk through that. But for anyone who hasn't seen this before, my name's Lee. We're working on an application called Haps.io. This is a happy hour directory. We're using LLMs to scrape venue websites for their happy hours so you can get drunk with your friends without spending your entire paycheck. We're experimenting with, so I'm a longtime developer. I've been a professional programmer for about 25 years. Really have studied programming a lot over the years, always trying to get better. And now we're going to see how much we can lean on AI to do work for us, what it's good at, what it's not good at, and how to use it. So where we left off last night, I had to run because my son walked in, and we were kind of fumbling through some tests. Basically, the story we were working on was our happy hour index page here was not filtering. So locations have hierarchy. They're using a gem. This is a Ruby on Rails application. They're using a gem called Ancestry. So locations have parents and children, and venues get associated with generally neighborhoods. So this is New Haven, Connecticut, is the first kind of city we're targeting here. And New Haven has neighborhoods like downtown, East Rock, places like that. What we want is, if we're searching for New Haven, we want to see all the venues in the New Haven location or any of its children. That wasn't happening. We asked Aider to make the change. He wrote some tests, and we were kind of fumbling through. So just the sort of like TLDR there is where we're in location, this add neighborhood function, and we were using a finder create on children of the city. So this would be New Haven in this example, and it was blowing up on a SQL error that really I don't quite understand, and I'm not getting paid by the hour, so I'm not going to investigate it. It's probably, we could open up the gem, see what's happening, but I don't really care. So I'm just going to do a manual find or create, where if we're adding a new neighborhood, the first time we've seen the neighborhood, right, the city gets created, and then the neighborhood becomes a child of the city. Be nice to just pretend there's a finder create that works here. We'll probably hide this in some other method, but for now we're just moving on. Bin Rails test. We'll see that our tests are green. And so while Claude was kind of thrashing on this, you can see that it added a bunch of output to try to figure out what was going on. We want to clean that up. Let's see if we can clean it up. I think our tests are kind of messy. So let's see how Aider does with a little prompting to clean these tests up. And let's see if we can actually add some lessons into our lessons file, so that in the future, maybe it can clean up these tests on its own. Not sure how this is going to go. We'll see. But the important part is right now we can see that we are actually getting happy hours. So these are happy hours that we scraped. The cast iron chef being a happy hour that we scraped, and these were not showing up again because they are in neighborhood locations, and we are searching in New Haven, which is a parent location, but this is working now, so that's great. That's what we wanted. And so we can just let's diff and see what the LLM did here. You can see it was trying to figure out what the problem was, so it added some debug statements here. So let's just see. So this is a little bit interesting. This is we actually had a problem. It thought it was solving a problem by saying, hey, you're assigning the neighborhood as the location object to the same name as you have this parameter. So not great. It wasn't actually a problem because we don't need it. We basically take it and reassign it, but we've already used it, so we don't care. But it's a solid change. I think I'd prefer to have these say name, but whatever. Aider added this method for self and descendant IDs. Rename that. That could be better. And then you can see it added a bunch of fixtures. If you don't do Rails, these are just basically data that's automatically put in your database before the tests run that you can use in your tests. And then it created this long test for happy hour search that says it includes the children. So a couple things. One, the location data for our tests is not great now. I mean, it did a good job of actually creating this hierarchy of locations, but now we have these kind of like junkier ones that sort of fall outside of that. So I'd like to refactor these out and just use these. And then we can also use them in our test. So there's not so much noise here. We want our test to be as readable as possible. There's a lot of setup noise that really doesn't add value. It doesn't give us test coverage. And it just makes the test harder to read. And really sort of like readability of code is probably the most important thing. And then verify the setup is correct. Again, we don't really need to do this. We can sorry, just reading through. Search using, and then our debug. Okay, so let's ask it to clean up the debug statements. In our location test, we're testing self and descendant IDs. I think we could sort of better rename this to like, I don't know, my location IDs, something like that, just to make that a little more succinct. And we don't need that. Okay, so yeah, we have everything staged, so we'll be able to see our changes. Let's start with let's close our buffers. Again, we're using Aider, and we're using it with the NeoVim plugin. So any of the buffers that we add or delete get automatically added or removed from the Aider context, which is going to send to the model. So happy hour search test, that's what we want. We don't need location right now. We don't need location test. And we do want the location YAML. So that's good to go. So now if we look back here, that's not what I wanted to do. Happy hour search test. Yeah, let's look at our search test. Okay, so first, we don't really need to ask it to remove this stuff. We can just remove this stuff. And downtown, locations downtown. Let's just see. Location downtown. Locations about downtown. So these are all in here. That's interesting. Oh, that's just an example. Okay. So let's first ask it to refactor this test to just use locations that are not downtown or uptown. So let's there. All right. So what do we have in our tokens? We have a lot of system messages. We don't really want that, so I'm gonna reset. And what model? Yeah, we're not in architect mode. The model I want here is Sonnet. So we're using 3.7, great. We're using a diff edit format, prompt caching. That all looks good. Now, oops, not that. So I haven't figured out this, but I have my Tmux navigation and my NeoVim navigation pretty dialed in, but it gets a little bit screwed up with when I'm in a NeoVim terminal, which Aider is in. But anyway, window mode over here. If I add to that, I'm going to edit my lessons, docs lessons. Just to bring that into context. Then we want our locations brought in. And let's see how we're doing here. So that did not get brought in for some reason. Pull that in. Okay, now it's in. So we have our locations fixtures and our happy hour test. So let's remove the downtown and uptown location fixtures and use and replace any references in tests with the remaining location fixtures. See how it does. Okay, so let's just see what it did. So it's asking, do we want to run the test? Sure. Let's just see if we're passing there. No, I don't want to upgrade. All right, and oh, no method pop for null. So we were seeing this before. No, I don't, because it's a lot. And so we're seeing location 2 not present. This is coming from, so let's just see, did it remove those? Yes, it did. It did remove those. That's good. So foreign key, what tests are we running here? So let's take this one and just run it ourselves. Rails test models, happy hour, search, and see if we can figure out what's going on. So what line are we failing on? I guess it didn't really help us running it again. We have it right here. So we saw this yesterday, and I'm trying to remember. So insert or update on table, venue locations. Oh, has a violation. Okay, so generally we see, and these are a little bit hard to track, but I do, is there a fixture reference here? Active support has assert pop. Yeah, before setup fixtures. Okay, so this is a fixture problem. What I'm guessing is happening in, do we have locations? Do we have venue locations? Yes. Okay. So this is, yeah, these are a little bit, you kind of have to just get used to these, where the problem is that the fixtures are just blowing up trying to get inserted into the database. So this is not what we want. I'm just going to comment these out for now. Oh, actually, I'm just going to delete these for now. So we'll have venues. They won't have any locations. We'll come back to this. Let's just run our tests. We can just run it here. Okay, cool. So those are tests we can add to the aider context. And let's just run, let's run all the tests, see what happens there. Okay, so that's solid. Let's see if it can, I'm kind of curious just what it's failing on now. So this is happy hour search test, and that is 49. Okay, so that's interesting. I'm curious if this is a filters both on day. So locations, New York City. I'm wondering if that is expecting. So if it replaced, this could be that it is expecting venues to be in certain locations. Let's just look at the diff here. So in downtown, yeah. So I think if we add, we could probably just do this just as fast as the LLM can, so we should probably just do that. But I think there's an expectation here. It's interesting. What is filter by locations? It's interesting that it added what it did to this test. Filter by locations. I think there was an assumption originally in the test that the venues and the locations were already set up and just asserting on that. Now it looks like it's re-adding it, which is funny that it's failing though. Happy hour create, happy hour search, and then it's expecting the results. And then the other one that's failing is, yeah, so let's go back to 49. Okay, so, but this guy is failing. Okay, this is probably, yeah, expecting those to be set up. So let's just see if it'll do the right thing. Let's give it a chance. So right now we have no. Let's add the other fixtures. Let's add the venue fixtures and the location fixtures, and then we can add it. We can ask it to just sort of resolve all of that. So venue, YAML, and then location, venue locations. Yeah. So let's say, oops. Let's say use any existing fixtures, or use existing fixtures when possible. Use existing venue and location fixtures when possible. It's okay to create happy hours in the test. I think that's okay. I think I kind of want just locations and venues to be static, and then we'll create the happy hours in the test, because that's kind of what we typically are testing. Add any necessary what is it, venue location fixtures. All right, let's see what it does there. It's like background music or something. Okay, so before we were creating like child neighborhood, New York City, then we were destroying the locations and creating it. Let's see if it did the right thing. So child location Soho, and it's still adding the venue location, so it didn't really do what I wanted it to do there. Maybe I wasn't clear. Let's see if the test passed though. No. So we have another fixture problem. So no, I don't want to do that. Let's see what we've done here. Let's venue location. Sorry, venue location fixtures. Okay, so it tried to do the right thing. Venue location, New York City. Let's look at, again, our location fixtures. New York City is there. That looks right, though. Are these symbols? I want to say those are supposed to be symbols. Pop for nil. Let's... are these symbols? No, I can't remember. Or strings, okay. Maybe strings are fine. So... yeah, it's unfortunately we don't get a lot of good feedback. Well, yeah, let's run it so I don't have to scroll in this window. Let's scroll up, see if it'll tell us what it is. Okay, so again, we're in this like venue locations violates foreign key constraint. So it is trying to insert venue locations pointed to records that don't exist. That is not what I want. So we could run one of these tests. Actually, maybe let's give it a chance to figure that out, because I'm not... venue 1, venue 2, it looks right. So let's go over here and we will paste. So that's just it's gonna reprompt with what's in our clipboard, which is the error. Let's see what it tells us. Oh, not that guy. So, all right, the error indicates foreign key violation in the venue location fixtures. Let's fix it. Okay, makes sense. See, the IDs though aren't predictable. That is not the right way to do it. We definitely want fixtures to reference other fixtures, not by ID. So that's not great. And now it's just really relying on IDs on the test. Also not great. So yeah, these are not great changes. So now we are. So there is an undo command. Let's see how that goes. No, undo. I see. Okay, so undo in Aider relies on get. I was kind of curious about that. So that's not going to work. So now we're not in a great spot where we have made a worse change. Probably should have committed. So that was my mistake. I should have definitely committed as soon as we were green. Rookie mistake. Now we're in a place where we got worse, and our options are to just dump like a good amount of stuff that we've done, or really just dump the move away from downtown and uptown to our other fixtures, which is probably a solid move at this point, because we're definitely in a worse spot. If we look, it's, the work here, it's not that much. It's definitely gotten worse. We're using IDs now, and let's just check that out. And we still have our staged. So let's make sure we're green. Let's commit. Okay, and so we'll commit and say that happy hour search searches location and children. Not the best message, but I'm working alone on this, so I'm the one who's going to have to read it, and I know what that means. All right, so now we want to reset. We want to get rid of the history that's in memory, the context that's in memory, and now we want to add some things back into context. Venue location. Did that not? Yeah. We want to add the happy hour search test. Let's just not you. Locations. And we want to, let's reprompt. Let's see if we can do better this time. Okay. Replace any. So we want to replace the down. We want to remove the downtown fixture. So remove the uptown update and downtown location fixtures. Replace them in the happy hour search test with any other existing fixtures. Also replace the venue location. Is that what it's called? Venue location fixtures with another location fixture. Do not use IDs for fixtures. Always use the fixture name. All right, let's see what we got. And so it tried this. It was still blowing up. But let's see if it gets it right this time. Very slow today. All right, so create a child location. Yes. Menus bar. So let's see what else. Not you. Window. Venue 1 in Soho, Venue 2 in Tribeca. I think this is good there. Got rid of those. And then it's interesting. It still didn't. Did it? No. Location. Soho. Okay. Yeah. No, that did the right thing. And then in this test. Yeah, replace it with Tribeca. That seems like a solid change. Still creating the child location, but that's what it was doing before. So, we didn't tell it to do that. So let's run the test. So again, still with these fixtures, fuck, what a pain in the ass. So we are getting foreign key violations. Now let's, it's funny, we're talking to Claude, but sometimes Claude is just, talking to Claude online is for some reason sometimes better. I don't know why. Maybe it's just too much context that Ader's sending up. And if we were to just like paste this in and say, well, actually, okay, so we can go back here and we go to our window and no. And now we can do copy context. And so that's going to give us, let's see, this guy here. So yeah, it's not exactly what I want, but it's definitely simpler than what Ader is sending, right? If we go back to tokens, we can see that here's the tokens taken up by those files, but there's also like 2,000 tokens in system messages. So maybe this is why sometimes when I'm talking to Claude like online, it can give me a better response because it's also not like parsing all the system messages from Ader about like, how we want the edits to come back and sort of like what to do. So what I want to do now is just give it, let's run a test, run Rails. Just run the test, get one of those failures. Now let's see if Claude can tell us what's going on if it has a lot less context to chew on. Nah, I don't have enough scroll back. Anyway, it's fine, I can describe it. So, let's see, help me fix a bug. I am getting a foreign key violation on venue from the venue location fixtures. Let's just see if it can, something as simple as that. No. Why? What? I want to reference. It's interesting that it's also, it's like, you're right. Oh, you're so smart. Why didn't I think of that? No. Okay. So, Rails guides, fixtures. We're in the docs like animals. Fixtures. Fixtures. All right. Fixtures. Category. Web frameworks. Is there a category fixture? It is. So, it is a string. That looks like it makes sense. That's pretty much what we're doing. So we have articles, fixture, referencing a category, by name. It's a string. That's right. So what is your problem? Okay, so this is the reality of it, right? Is that Claude doesn't know how to help us right now. So we're kind of on our own. So let's just debug it. Venue YAML. So let's just double check. We have venue 1, venue 2, location, Soho, and location Tribeca. That certainly looks correct. What is our problem? Let's see, let's just look a little more closely at the message. So, foreign key violation found in your fixture data. Refer to a label that doesn't exist. Insert or update table, venue locations, foreign key constraint. Is not present in locations. So, is it because of the order? So still getting this error. Is it possible where is it? Venue location fixtures is being inserted before the location fixtures? You're absolutely right. I'm always right. Specify the order in the text helper. Okay. Use the IDs, which it just told me. It's a great idea not to use the IDs. So we're not so smart in our test case. Let's see if it gets this right though. Test helper. And then do we have active support test case? That's what we're looking for, active support test case. So we're looking for this line, specify that order for all tests in alphabetical order. Okay. So I'm not sure how to do, like I don't want just these fixtures. So how do we modify our existing test helper? Okay, so we could just throw all at the end. Great. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Does it work? I don't want to run all those because they're going to fail. Models, we'll do happy hour search. No fixture files found for all. Okay. Okay, so I'm not going to do all. Really? Hold on. That can't be right. So I either have to specify the order of every single one, or I need to include them in alphabetical order? This can't be right. Okay, so fine. Still the same problem. Venue locations, foreign key constraint. Painful. So yeah, let's okay, let's just double check that was written. We're getting the same thing. Let's you literally just told me that was a bad idea. So I think we can kind of step back, reflect a little bit for a second. One, this is the reality of the job a lot of the time. Like, the computer's doing something, you don't understand it, you have to dig in. Claude is just going back and forth between telling you, like, oh, fix it with this idea. And you're like, isn't that a bad idea? They're like, yes, you're absolutely right. That is a bad idea. Let's fix it a different way. And then just looping. So that kind of sucks. This is probably a just stop and read the docs sort of situation. I wish there was, like, I wish there was a way. Maybe we could, let's do this. Let's copy in all of those stuff so we don't have to read it and just say, find the answer in the docs. So all constraints deferred. Okay, now this is an interesting solution, right? It's basically saying, like, defer all of the constraints in the database. Let's just get this shit in. Kind of surprised it doesn't already do that, because if it's loading them in alphabetical order, like, you're definitely going to hit the constraints. Is the answer in these docs? So we're just back. The issue might be that your venue location model doesn't have the correct associations defined. So let's just double check that is not the case. Venue locations, it's pretty much exactly what it should be. Okay, so yeah, we are in we're in Google land now, I think. We could step back and just say, like, are we doing something we don't need to be doing? Right? I think it's a good time to think about that. Well, you know, our options are to not have fixtures for locations and venues, but it's a pretty handy thing to just have some seed data. Fixtures are definitely going to be a lot faster in our tests than just factories, where we just kind of factory these things up through the objects, because it's just doing a dumb insert. That's kind of nice. I don't want to create these things in my tests because it really clutters the tests. So I think this is a solid thing to keep pursuing, though it's annoying. And I mean, we've wasted like how much time? Like almost an hour on it. So yeah, I think we're just gonna have to figure this one out. And there's a little bit of a rabbit hole about load order. I'm sure Rails handle this. We're just doing something dumb, and I don't know what it is. So I think with that, I'm gonna call it here on the stream. Spend some time investigating this a little bit. No one needs to watch me read. And then I'll let everybody know what's going on. But like always, I think we end on a bug. And again, that is the life. So anyway.